will be on. And good morning, everyone. Welcome to the live stream. Welcome to the Livecast. Guys, today we're going to be talking about how the United Kingdom has lost its trust. How everybody in the United Kingdom has lost trust. There's no trust in the United Kingdom anymore. Trust is gone. It's broken. It's not coming back. Trust is one of those things that's very important for a society. Why? Because without trust, nothing functions, guys. Without trust, nothing functions. Now, I'm going to give you something anecdotally here, and this was what I was watching from somebody else's video. I was watching a video. His name's, it was on YouTube. His name's Fast Jets. I don't know. He's a guy. He's an ex-RAF fast jet pilot instructor or something. And I was watching one of his live streams and I thought, wow, not a live stream, a video. And what he was saying in that is a perfect anecdote of the fall of the West at the moment. Now, a society does not evolve without trust. Nothing works without trust. I go to a shop, that shop owner trusts me to pay him or her money for the goods. I trust that shop owner to give me the goods once I've given them the money. If there's no trust, that transaction doesn't work. So that person, so I go in there as a customer, I don't get my stuff. The shop owner, they don't get their money. Society crumbles, guys, okay? Society crumbles. Now, this guy was telling me about an incident that he either witnessed himself or I can't remember how it goes, but the story goes like this. There was a bunch of people queuing to get to an event. Now, people are queuing, and again, look, guys, if you're British, queuing is part of your culture. It's part of our culture. If you go to places like the Middle East, places like in Africa, people just don't queue. It's just like a mad rush. Anyway, so this culture that we have of queuing in the United Kingdom, this guy was saying that they were queuing. This guy was saying they were queuing with they was queuing for an event, and a gentleman walked down wearing full Arabic attire. He pushed in front of the queue. And the gentleman behind him said, "Excuse me, mate, there's a queue. You've got to go at the back." And he said, No, what are you going to do about it? And like that, anecdotally, and there's nothing nowhere, and nobody did anything about it. And this is what I'm talking about, guys, okay? Trust in society. Right now, we have a low trust is failing in the United Kingdom. For example, we trust to elect our leaders, our political class. We trust that they will do what they say when they're like, for example, Keir Starmer saying he's going to smash the gangs. We trust, we trusted Keir Starmer when he said he was going to stop the gangs. I.e., trust has broken with the government. We trust the police to police fair and freely. Trust has broken. And right now, guys, in the United Kingdom, trust has been eroded. We are going downhill with trust. And I would say that is in direct proportion to the amount of non-British citizens that we have living in the country right now, guys. It's absolutely fantastic. Carl Hope over on YouTube. Carl, mind your language, my friend, okay? Mind your language. Don't swear on the chat. If you want to call me out, right, I'm deleting your comment. Guys, look, if you want to call me out or be critical, don't swear, all right? First of all, if people swear, it starts to you start to understand their mental capacity because they can't find words to articulate themselves, right? All right. But Carl, if you want to swear on my live stream, please go and that's absolutely fine. I'll just block you. Otherwise, go and have a little look in a dictionary, all right? Find some big boy words and come back, okay, buddy? Right, I'm just going to jump over to YouTube and get these. I'm just going to jump over to YouTube and get some comment. Not YouTube. TikTok and get the comment on TikTok him and Nick Knock it. In fact, let me press some buttons. But that's what I want to talk about today, guys. Trust, trust in societies, high trust societies, low trust societies. Like if you go to the Middle East, certainly some of the pictures, certainly quite a few of the countries I've been to in the Middle East, you would class them as low trust societies. And in those low trust societies, it's very difficult to do anything because nobody trusts anyone. Right, Lulu is joined, Rob Abbott, Jean Taylor, Sharon Owens like the live, Coddy, Sharon Owens is saying good morning to you. Smurf has joined with a fantastic picture. Ollie, Andy, Cassie is saying morning, Jodie Lee saying morning everyone. Apparently I've reached my live goal, so I don't know what that means guys, but I've just got a message up on TikTok saying live goal achieved. And congratulate everyone. So for you guys, thank you so much for helping me achieve that live goal. I don't know what it is, but well done, team. Angela Dawson saying morning, Sean Timsky saying morning, Debbie Doobs is saying morning guys, Four Pauses saying morning guys as well. Googly is saying Trump to send offensive weapons to Ukraine after turning against Putin. This was an interesting thing, guys, that I saw. It was an interesting development. We are going to have to see how this works. Look, I still think that I don't see any scenario where the Americans commit boots on the ground. I really don't. I see the Americans to be focusing on the Middle East. And Google is saying, would it be surprised if nuclear war comes closer? Look, guys, I've done many videos and I've talked about this. I'm kind of in the camp now where I don't think there's going to be nuclear weapons used, guys. I really don't. Debbie Doobs is saying, how is everyone? And guys, listen, how is everyone? Like, has everybody been seeing the scenes from this hotel in Epping, the Bell Hotel? Have we all caught up on what's happening in the Bell Hotel in Epping, guys? Debbie Doobs is saying, how long until Putin is so desperate he only has one option left? Debbie Doobs is saying, I watched a vid on Palestinian action be removed by the police. Guys, look, there's like, the images that we've all seen. Okay, guys, look, the images that we've all seen about the people in France puncturing the dinghies. You all know what I mean. The people that were, I think it was the French police, they're there puncturing the dinghies and everybody's going, yay, we're finally stopping it. It's stopped. It's over. It's finished. We're winning. Everything's fine. We're all gonna be standing on the cricket fields, having our third beer, listening to the church bells. It's all coming back. We're winning. Guys, look, forget it. It's over. It's not coming back. We ain't going back. We ain't going back to 1995. That is for sure. Wow, that was 30 years ago. Yeah, so the trust's gone in society, guys, all right? And it's not coming back. It doesn't come back. Trust is one of those things that's hard to gain but easy to lose. Tina and Silence are saying morning. Oh, right, okay. Right, thank you, Carl. Carl's just come back with a bit of a longer comment that I will read out in a minute, guys. And I will address what he's saying in a second. Googly is saying, did some research and realised that tactical nuclear weapons are not much different than nukes. No, the word tactical nuclear weapon, I think the bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki at the end of the Second World War, I'm pretty sure they would be classed today as tactical nuclear weapons. But look, guys, I don't see any scenario where nuclear weapons are being used, guys. I really don't see any scenario where that's happening. I'm just going to jump over to YouTube, guys, and get the comments there, and then we're going to talk about this, how we've lost faith in society. So Luke is saying, morning. Lions is saying, I don't think any of us trust Starmer. Yeah, guys, look, remember when Keir Starmer was saying he's going to smash the gangs and they're going to, it's just unbelievable, So, the trust in society has almost vanished. Monocrop is saying, general social trust is long dead for me. Local shopkeeper thought he was a sound guy. Next thing I knew, he fleeced me out of money. One day, then had goal to go at me for calling him out on it. Just one of the many examples of a broken trust. Yeah, look, guys, social trust is broken. And once social trust is broken, you do not get it back. Carl is saying, apologies for the language, but you've been talking about civil war and world wars and neither have happened. Really? It's just scaremongering. Right, okay, so Carl, Right, Carl, if you're a Palestinian and you live in Gaza, like, I wouldn't even say that's a war. I would actually go one further and say that if you live in Gaza right now, you're going through an apocalypse. Like, you are literally going through the apocalypse right now if you live in Gaza. We have had the biggest nuclear strikes ever, used in Iran. We have got a situation in the east of Europe where, again, it's not. I've been saying this, but now you've got militaries gearing up for an actual peer-on-peer conflict with Russia. That's not me scaremongering. It's not me scaremongering saying what the governments are spending their money on. Like, that is a subjective, I guess, objective. That is an objective fact. What governments are spending their monies, what the governments are spending their money on. Also, if you live in Ukraine, the increased air attacks right now, it's pretty much on par with what Britain faced in the Blitz in the Second World War. So, I would say that the conflicts, the global conflicts, are happening. There's no denying that they are happening. Just because someone from the BBC's not got up there and said, "Ladies and gentlemen, this is the World War." Remember, guys, okay, World War I and II, nobody actually called them world wars. With the civil unrest and the civil, again, I need to be clear with this, Carl, as well. Sometimes I do use the word civil war, but I think there's going to have to be another word for describing what is coming to the United Kingdom. Because, look, you can already see it now. So, Carl, if you want to, I'm talking to a guy called Carl Hope on the YouTube, guys, okay? If you look at what happened last night in Epping at the Bell Hotel, this is a sign of things to come, guys, okay? This is a sign of things to come. Now, last year, if you want to scroll back through my, I've probably done videos on YouTube of it. If you want to scroll back through my videos on TikTok, I've got an orange shirt and I'm talking about this. I know because I can remember talking about it. One of the things I said is next year, this is going to be worse, guys. Okay, next year, this is going to be worse. What we're seeing right now, and this is not me, I'm not scaremongering. I'm telling you right now, guys, when I'm saying this, I'm not scaremongering. I'm telling you factually what happened yesterday. What actually happened. You had hundreds of people uniting outside a hotel. There was violence. There was fighting. I don't know how that night ended, guys. I think it ended relatively peacefully, but that's the reality now, guys. And this is, as we're moving forward, we're starting to see communities unite because, like the crux of this video, guys, okay, the United Kingdom, we have broken trust and, people need to start preparing for the summer of carnage. And Slim is saying, release the sausages. Civil unrest is already upon us. It is, guys. Look, and then, I think civil unrest is just countering what Carl was saying. Right, let me jump back to TikTok, guys, and get these comments. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you're on for the first time and you've not done so already, in fact, how long have we been? I've been monologuing for 15 minutes now, guys. I've been monologuing for 15 minutes. Can you do me a favor, guys, real quick? Can you hit the buttons up here if you're watching on TikTok? The like, the follow, the subscribe button if you guys can. Excuse me. If you're watching later on today, or maybe you're watching on catch up and you're watching on YouTube, can you hit the buttons down below, guys? We are double streaming until I get banned. We are double streaming until I get banned, guys. We are double streaming on TikTok and we are double streaming on YouTube as well. But we do have a low trust society now in the United Kingdom, guys, okay? Trust has gone. It's not coming back. We're done, we're over, we're finished. And all these people, like all you guys who think, oh, we're going to vote for reform and everything's going to be fine. Do you know what's going to happen, guys? In 4 years' time or 3 years' time, whenever it is, when the next election comes and we all vote for reform and nothing happens, we're all going to be like, oh, by golly, I'm going to vote for Conservatives next time. And then we all vote for Conservatives and it gets worse. And we're like, by the beard of Zeus, who do we vote for? Guys, look, if voting was gonna get us out of the mess we are in right now, they wouldn't let us do it, believe me, okay? So voting's not gonna stop. So what's the solution, guys? Please put the solutions in the comments, guys. Put the solutions in the comments. I'm not gonna speculate on the solution. Singing Mama is saying hello back to you, Singing Mama. Googly is saying, according to the internet, tactical news can be used on battlefield to target troops and stuff. Yes, that's true. So not the casual ones that are used to cause devastation or say. Okay, so back in the 1980s, there was a whole military doctrine around the use of tactical nuclear weapons. And guys, listen, I answer these questions in real time, okay? I don't know what these questions are going to be. That's why I come on here and I do live streams, so I can answer questions to you guys in real time. So I'm not researching something on the internet and then writing a script behind the scene. What you see is what you get, guys, okay? I do have a little bit of information on this. So I think around about it might have even been the 60s. So there was a whole military doctrine wrote around the use of tactical or battlefield nuclear weapons. And this was going to be in the context that you could have a weapon system at brigade level, kind of like artillery that's an asset, and your artillery commander could fire these I think it's up to 1 megaton is classed as a tactical nuclear weapon. They could fire these smaller nuclear weapons and they could decimate masses of troops, as the use as artillery. They don't do that anymore, guys, and a lot of these systems have been deactivated. Now, I personally think this is down to cost, guys, okay? I just don't think it's cost effective. And obviously, I don't think aliens are going to let us use that. What did he say? Is he talking about aliens again and it's a morning? Googly is saying, I don't see how you think Russia wouldn't use nukes if they are invaded by NATO as a final resort. Right, okay, guys, look, Google it. Guys, listen, I respect everybody's opinion, guys, okay? So Google it is Google is on the opinion of, we'll read Googly's comment and I'll address it. Where are we? So Google is saying, I don't see how you think Russia wouldn't use nukes if they were invaded by NATO as a final resort. So in Russian nuclear doctrine, guys, and it did change, but in the old Russian nuclear doctrine, it said Russia would only use nuclear weapons if Russia itself as a state was threatened. Now, last year, I think it was last year or the beginning of this year, the Ukrainians actually invaded. They did. There's not a better word for it. The Ukrainians invaded Russia in the Kursk region. Now, there's a lot of speculation about why the Kursk region, why the nuclear power plant. There's a lot of people talking about non-nuclear EMPs, but I'll leave that for a different video unless you want me to cover it. Now, in that context, that ticks all the boxes, guys. That ticks all the boxes for the Russians going down there and sending a big mushroom cloud up, guys. It does. First of all, the Russians would be using a nuclear weapon on their own ground in their own country. So how could, the West, NATO, be critical of that? How could they be critical of that? The Russians themselves wouldn't have to have any of the engineering problems that you come to by getting your nuclear weapon and then fitting that into its delivery mode. Literally, you could put this on the back of a flatbed and just drive it in there. And it didn't happen, guys. It didn't happen. So I think something behind the scenes is happening where, look, guys, this is more of a conversation for the evening. But I think there's bigger games at play here. Why that wasn't used, and there's bigger games at play why it's not being used. I think there's a lot bigger games at play why the governments are still spending billions and billions and billions of pounds developing conventional munitions when when nuclear weapons are a lot more potent and a lot more well understood and a lot better understood potentially. So Kaz is saying, morning all, how is everyone? And Googly is saying the solution is a new solution, reform. I don't think anything's gonna change, guys. Like, you know, a lot of people are talking about voting for reform or voting for this party or voting for this party. Look, guys, I'll be honest with you. I think real change comes at community level. Rather than everybody thinking, oh, the government should look after us. The government should do this. We pay our taxes. I think everybody needs to understand that that's not going to happen and just wake up to the fact that when you elect your politician, they're good for 4 years. They can literally do absolutely nothing for 4 years, guys, and then they can go and swizzle and do whatever they want. So that kind of is what's happening, guys, all right? Let's just look back through our voting history. 2016, we voted for Brexit. We voted for Boris Johnson to get Brexit done. And then we had, who did we have then? We had Liz Truss. We had, who did we have? We had Tricky Rishi. Tricky Rishi popped in without a vote. And now we've got Keir Starmer. Like, each and every one of these guys, like, we have been voting en masse. We have been voting en masse to get, to lower migration. And it does seem, Keir Starmer, we're going to smash the gangs. Literally, guys, we had 500. Sorry. We had 500 boats turn. I can't even believe this, guys. Let me get this up. I did a video on TikTok earlier. I did a video, guys, on TikTok. I did a video on TikTok the other, earlier on. Yeah, it's there. It's in the Independent. I struggle to see this, guys. I really struggle to see this as right. Like, I'm just going to read you this. So, right, okay. So, Keir Starmer is going to smash the gangs, right? We're smashing the gangs. We're going to stop it. We're going to give millions to the French. We're going to give millions to open up a new department in the United Kingdom. We have spent millions to smash the gangs, okay? We're spending millions. More than 500 small boat arrivals in the UK on the day of Starmer and Macron's migration deal. Like, is that real? Is that in one day? It can't be, can it? It can't be. It can't be in one day, guys. Maybe that, I think that might be in total, guys. I think that might be in total. I don't know, guys. I'm just reading the headlines here. Hang on, what's happened? What's just happened? Am I still streaming, guys? What's just happened? Oh, paywall. Right, paywall. Am I going to pay? Some 573 migrants arrived in the UK on Thursday after crossing the English Channel, according to provisional figures from the Home Office. The cumulative number of arrivals in 2025 now stands a provisional 21,690. This is 54% higher than the same point last year. So, how is this, like, guys, like, realistically now, how is this smashing the gangs? Tell me how the boats are being smashed. Tell me how the gangs are getting smashed. Because they're up 50% on this time last year. I don't know, guys. Look, listen, I would say that the boats are not being stopped because they don't want them to stop. Now, that sounds like one of those things like, oh, yeah, Sean, that's obvious. No. It's not obvious. It's not obvious. I would say, do you know what? Everybody in government, everybody that we have as our leaders at the moment, guys, each and every one of them. I mean, I'm not going to say what I was going to say because I'll definitely go blank on TikTok. Each and every one of our leaders right now, guys, they know. Maybe Diane Abbott, maybe she, just because she doesn't understand, but I would say that every one of the leaders in our country right now know what a disaster the migration policy is, and they are going to be losing votes because of it. I would say everybody knows this. I would say, looking at the situation holistically, the drop in living standards, the drop in schooling, the drop in healthcare, the drop in dental care, the drop in social services, the drop in everything. I would say that is real, guys, okay? I would say that is real. And this is actually happening now, guys, all right? You can see this. So the people in charge know this is happening. So why are they not stopping it? because we already understand that they're not stopping it because they don't want to stop it. So if you go down that rabbit hole, guys, if you want to go down that rabbit hole, it leads you to if you ask the right logical questions, it leads you to an absolutely terrifying crescendo. Debbie Doobs is saying, I remember watching threads at the time of release. Scary. Debbie Doobs is saying Ukraine isn't NATO though. No, and so because Ukraine isn't NATO, that would give the Russians more capacity to potentially strike them with one of the mushroom clouders. Googly is saying, now if it's only the Kursk you thought about, think about more Russian land from all fronts. So we're talking here about the Kursk region in Ukraine, in Russia, guys. So the Kursk region in Russia is the area where the Ukrainians have surged into and taken ground. Look, and I'm not taking anything away from the Ukrainians. What I would say is there's a huge nuclear power plant there. Now these huge nuclear power plants usually have a secondary, they usually have a secondary, what's the word I'm looking for? They usually have something secondary that they're powering. So I think there's more to this Kursk invasion than we're not being told, guys. I don't have any information on that. I have no inside information on that, guys. Only what I know about, the use of masses of power. Google is saying Russia has 46 million people fit for service according to globalfirepower.com. And Linda Lou is saying, morning Sean, I'm late this morning, hope I've not missed much. Don't worry, Linda Lou, I was also late, I had lots to do in the house. Belarus and Russia were talking about doubling the nuclear button. Look guys, I don't think we're ever going to see it. Look guys, maybe I'm wrong, I hope I'm not. I don't think we're going to see a scenario where nuclear weapons are ever going to be used, guys. I really don't. I think there's been too many opportunities. It's not being used, and I'm like, right, if it's not being used, why? And there's definitely something behind the scenes. Debbie Doobs is saying, big changes coming to our country. Debbie, I would say the big changes are happening right now, and I'd say big changes are here, but yeah, I do think you're right. None very good for the British people. And then Witchy Lab is saying, good morning. Right, good morning, everyone. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you are joining for the first time, welcome. And you've not done so already, can you please hit those buttons up there, the like, the follow, the subscribe, like if you're watching on YouTube later on down there. And Googly is saying it's 499 people in and 1 out. Guys, it is bonkers, isn't it? I mean, I was watching a video today. I think it may be on TikTok, or I may have watched it on X. I can't remember what it was. But people are now doing like proper invasions of these hotels. So this video I saw, there's people and they actually get inside the hotel. They actually get inside the hotel and they're running around and filming people while they're laid in their beds. The security manager comes up and he tries to kick them out. But like what I'm getting at now, guys, is it's only a matter of time before something bad happens and people unite. And look, we've already been seeing this in Epping, guys. You know, we're starting to see that. We saw this last night in Epping. We saw this at the Bell Hotel, and we're seeing this more and more. Guys, listen, I keep saying this. When we get to summer next week, by summer next week, I mean when the kids are off school. When the kids are off school, guys, when the kids are off school, that's when you're going to see the massive uptick, guys, when those kids are off school. Right, I'm just going to jump over to, hang on. Sandra Green's just come over from TikTok. Thank you very much, Sandra Green. Slim is saying, Sandra Green, love the Blue Lotus. The Blue Lotus? I don't know what that means, the Blue Lotus. Are we talking about the stuff down here? Fake news channel has just been kicked off YouTube. Why? On Rumble now. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why any of these channels get kicked off, but I do know that I get censored quite a lot, ladies and gentlemen, on TikTok. Like I've had quite a lot of my live streams banned now. So I do think I'm not on my final warning. I'm not on my final warning I'm not my final TikTok warning, but I'm getting there. Sandra Green is saying, for some reason, my phone on YouTube will not let me click on to a person's name to send messages back to them. I can't comment on TikTok. All right, okay, Sandra Green. Right, well, Sandra Green, let me know what your comments are on TikTok, and what your comments are, and I'll repeat those comments, guys. Right, I'm just going to jump up here. Hang on, quite a few comments just jumped down. Coral Reefing is saying, feel like nukes were put out there to keep people scared. Look, guys, okay, right. I think the alternative to nuclear weapons is, look, back in when nuclear weapons were used at the end of the Second World War, guys, okay, there's a strong argument, and I know it wouldn't feel like this if you were Japanese, but there's a strong argument that those nuclear, look, guys, I'm just giving you the arguments here, guys, okay? Obviously, I don't have a crystal ball, but the strong argument is that those nuclear weapons were used to save lives. What are you on about, Sean? They're devastating. Hear me out, guys, okay? So, I guess the West, they looked at the amount of manpower invested in the Normandy landings, the casualty rates on both sides now, guys, on both sides. I'm talking like the Japanese and potentially the American side now. So they're looking at these casualty rates and thinking, this is going to be difficult. And the argument is that the use of nuclear weapons in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the argument is that actually saved more lives than a ground invasion. So that's the argument with them, guys, okay? Now, I will say that they are very expensive to maintain. One of the things you need, and listen, guys, I don't pretend to be an expert in tritium or fissionable materials, but I do know that tritium, because I have a little bit of experience in working around that sphere, I do know that the cost of tritium is around $40,000 a gram. Now, let me ask you this question, guys. I don't know what the answer is, but if you're a corrupt country, like whatever country you're thinking of now, guys, is corrupt, just think about that, all right? If you're a corrupt country, and you give your money to your nuclear general or whatever, and you're like, right, mate, can you make sure that all those nuclear weapons are, they're all kept intact and they're all working and they're all fine? Like, what do you think he's going to do? Do you think he's going to think, right, we're never going to use these, but I have to put tritium in these every 7 years? Like, what do you think that guy's going to do? Do you think he's going to pocket a little bit of that money? I don't know. What do you think? So I would say that has been happening on an enormous scale. So it's all well and good saying the country X has 3,000 nuclear weapons. My response to that would be, yeah, but can they work? Do they work? Are they being maintained? It's like me saying, I own a scrapyard and I actually own 200 cars. Yeah, I own 200 cars. None of them have got engines. Most of them have got one wheel missing or more. Most of the gearboxes have been pilfered. The seats are pilfered. All the windows are smashed. But yeah, I own 200 cars. Who are you going to ask for a lift? John with his one car that's serviced and works, or Fred with this. That's a fantastic analogy, isn't it? I'm going to use that more often. Or you're going to use Fred with his scrapyard and his 200 cars that none of them work. Who's going to get you from point A to point B quickest in the back of their car? You see where we're going with this, guys. Linda Lou is saying, I heard they are releasing Lucy Connolly in August. Is that because Manchester 2 will be walking away? I think, look, guys, I think they need to release Lucy. I think we shouldn't have okay, I need to be very careful what I'm saying here, guys, okay? I think the sentencing of Lucy Connolly was ridiculously harsh, guys. Like unbelievably harsh, guys. I really do think it was unbelievable. Like, phenomenally harsh. And I would speculate that I would say that the most people looking at this from the outside don't understand why she's in prison for as long as she is. And look, guys, and I'm one of those. I really don't understand how she got sentenced for that long. Cole Reefin is saying no one really has the minerals to use them. I think Ukraine will most likely make something. There is talk on non-confirmed social media, guys. There is there is talk about dirty bombs actually being used in Ukraine. Now, I don't know if that's true. I can't find any mainstream media articles about that. Doesn't mean it's not true, because I know the media doesn't get into Ukraine very much. Linda Lewis saying to stop people from protesting. Debbie Doobs is saying people get kicked off when they get too near the truth. Googly is saying, do you think it's an escalation that Trump is giving more major offensive weapons? I think it's a financial decision more than anything. Donald Trump is a businessman, and part of business, in fact, part of all business, guys, is to take your money and put it from your account. My chair's broken. Part of all businesses, the first role of all business, and a lot of people forget this, guys, okay? The first and foremost, activity of any business is to take money from your bank account and put it in their own bank account. So I think this is a financial decision, guys, more than anything. So Linda Lewis saying, I got a strike yesterday on ChatGPT. Didn't know what would happen. I don't know what, guys, I don't use ChatGPT, so I don't know what a strike would be. Debbie Doobs is saying, has America ever won a war? Googly is saying, but corrupt countries make those weapons cheaper. I don't think they do, because you still need that fissionable material, and you can't, it's kind of like growing a plant. You can't throw money at it and expect it to grow further. You've got to continually, look after that thing. So, I don't think corrupt countries do make that grow further. Make those weapon systems become cheaper. Right, guys, let me just jump onto the mainstream, because I'm fascinated. Honestly, guys, I'm fascinated right now that zero. Hang on. I'm fascinated that absolutely zero mainstream media have covered what happened last night in Epping. No, nothing. Oh, hang on, I've got an update here. I've got an update from Essex Live. Let's see what this is. So the only people that are covering this, and look, guys, okay, if you control the media, you control people's opinion. That's the reality. So to me, it's been really telling that no mainstream media are picking up on what happened outside the Asylum Seeker Hotel in Epping last night. Right, guys, I've got an update from from Essex Live. I'm going to read that in a minute, guys, but I'm just going to jump off screen in a second to get myself a bottle of water. Can you guys do me a favor if you're on? Can you hit those buttons? The like, the comment, the subscribe, the bell notification, buttons up here if you guys are watching on TikTok, buttons down here if you guys are watching on YouTube. Let me just jump off screen, guys, grab a bottle of water, and I'll be right back. But let's get tapping. Let's do some things to help me out, because it means so much to me, guys. Every time you hit that bell notification, every time you hit the subscribe, every time you hit the like, the follow. And please, ladies and gentlemen, if you're on and you've not done so already, please throw a comment in and let's start a conversation going, because ultimately people need to understand what is happening. Because if you don't understand what's happening, how can you get ready for it? I am back, ladies and gentlemen. Right, I'll put that there for a second. Right, live updates, ladies and gentlemen, from police after the protest outside Essex Asylum Seeker Hotel. Now, guys, listen, I am going from this from the from Essex Live. I did have to search for it. It wasn't in the first Google. It wasn't in the first Google. Go on. It wasn't at the top, basically, of the Google searches. Let me jump down. Right. Okay. So here we go. A planned protest. Right. I thought this was a flash mob, so I do apologise. A planned protest outside a hotel housing asylum seekers remained peaceful, with no arrests or offences reported. Hang on. I don't know. I think I'm glitching on there. Right, guys, on TikTok, am I glitching? Guys, on TikTok, am I glitching? Hang on, let me give it a second. I think I'm glitching on TikTok. I don't know. No? Okay, right. Thank you, Scottish Sonia. Right, I'll continue. So I'm reading this now, guys, from Essex Live. Okay, I'm reading this from Essex Live. A planned protest outside a hotel housing asylum seekers remained peaceful, with no arrests or offences, according to Essex Police. Large crowds of people attended a demonstration outside the Bell Hotel on Epping on Sunday, 13th of July. Guys, look, if you're watching this for the first time, in fact, guys, can you all do me a favour? You've all got that friend, right, who thinks everything's fine. You've all got that friend who thinks everything's fine. You know, oh, everything's fine. What's wrong, Sean? Do you want some gammon for your dinner? Like, you've all got that friend. Can you just ask them this? Show them what happened. Show them social media, guys. Show them this article from Essex Live, and just ask, why was there no mainstream media coverage of this? Why, even today, guys, like, what, 24 hours later or whatever it is, why has no mainstream media outlet picked up on this? People were protesting at the hotel against its use as a base for asylum seekers. Photos seen by Essex Live appeared to show a number of police officers at the scene. Remember, guys, I'm just reading this now, guys. A group of people protesting the use of the hotel were opposed by another group of protesters, some of which were holding "Stop the Far Right" signs. There were no arrests or offences reported to officers. To me, this is missing a few of the key things here, guys. Essex Police will continue to have a presence in the area. Wow, this is fantastic, guys. This is fantastic. The protest follows the area. The protest follow the area's local council leader, Chris Whitebed, calling for the hotel's closure without delays. We respect. It's not telling us why, guys. This is phenomenal. Wow. Guys, this is unbelievable. Hang on, I'm just scanning through this really quickly. Wow. Nowhere on here, guys, nowhere on here does it say that 3 girls have allegedly been assaulted, allegedly by people staying in that hotel. Nowhere in this article, guys, okay? Nowhere in this article does it say that. What it does say, however, is, I urge everyone to rely. Wow, guys, this is some MK Ultra stuff, guys. Right now, this is mind control. I urge everyone to solely rely on official updates from the police and council. Avoid speculation or misinformation being spread on social media and elsewhere. We will remain calm and united, and we will work to ensure Epping remains a safe place for everyone. Wow, guys, this is phenomenal. Like, yeah. The first thing when I read that sentence, guys, I urge everyone to rely solely on official updates from the government. They didn't say the government, but they just say official updates. So basically what they're saying there is, it's kind of like the mind control thing, isn't it? Don't only rely on me, everybody else is fake. Don't listen to anyone else. And it kind of goes into that narrative, what we were just talking about. You know, if you control the narrative, you control people's opinion. But look, guys, you can't hide this information. So what we saw yesterday, what we saw on yesterday's live stream were actual people shouting, protect our kids. Nowhere in this article does it say that. You know, allegedly, a gentleman who was staying, allegedly staying in the hotel, allegedly, speculatively, who was staying in the hotel, and I saw the videos of this, guys, you know, so it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So the one article now, guys, and this was released like the last couple of, this was released 2 hours ago. So the only release from any online media, police update after protests outside Essex Asylum Hotel, does not mention any attacks on girls, guys. It doesn't mention any attacks on girls. But if you look on social media, if you look on X, that's what people are saying. So you see the two different things here, and this is what gets people angry, and this is what turns a lot of people. And guys, look, can you right there, if you're listening to this, can you do me a favor? Can you do me a favor, okay? Can you show people this article, all right? Find this article wherever you can. Find this article, okay? It's in the Essex Live, and it's posted online. The headline is Police Update After Protest Outside Asylum Seeker Hotel. Read through that article, guys, all right? Nowhere does it mention girls are being attacked. Nowhere. Nowhere at all does it mention girls have been attacked. It doesn't mention it. Then, can you then show that to one of your friends who's like one of these things, who say, oh, everything's fine, the media never lied to us, we're not in a world war unless BBC say we are. Like, just go and show them this article and say, look, nowhere in the article does it say girls were attacked. And then go on social media and show him all the videos of people chanting, protect our girls, protect our kids, protect our kids. Show them the alleged incidents that are supposed to have happened. Show them the video of the incident happening. There's even a video of the incident happening, guys, okay? There's actually, the alleged incident, guys. I've got to say the alleged incident, but there's even a video of that, the actual incident when the schoolgirls are walking home. You know, so show them, just go and show your friends here, right, just look at these two things. Why are the media underreporting this? Why are the media underreporting what's happening now, guys? I could speculate the answer, but I'm not gonna, because I don't want to get my TikTok swizzly dude. Right, so that is kind of what's not in the information there, guys, is the information. Why is that not closing down? Close. Why is that not going down? Right, now I can't get off that. Hang on. Give me a second, guys. Give me a second. Right, we have got an update from Ukraine, guys, but I think I'm going to do that later on today. Once I've got an update from Ukraine regarding more weapons into, more weapons into Ukraine. Right, guys, listen, for the last 10 minutes on TikTok, what I'm going to do now, guys, I'm going to talk about if you find yourself and your family in one of these incidents, right? Okay, I'm going to talk about that now. There's lots of different scenarios, so please throw the scenarios in the chat, guys, okay? If you're wanting to know my advice on what to do if you find yourselves in that, in that sort of scenario. But I'm just going to give a very generic scenario now, guys, all right? You're out with your kids, you're out with your family, whatever. You know, you're walking through, you're walking through a city centre or wherever, or a shopping centre, and you walk around the corner, and all of a sudden you see mass protests, people getting angry, people fighting with the police. All of a sudden you're blocked in and you're stuck. First things first, ladies and gentlemen, do not panic, all right? People will not be targeting you, all right? Doesn't matter what side you're on, doesn't matter if you are the most, like, if you're the most far left, far left person you can think of, if you walk into a far right protest, they don't know who you are, all right? They don't know what your beliefs are unless you start shouting and you're covered in like some sort of insignia, all right? Likewise, if you're like, if you're massively far right and you walk into a crowd of far left protesters, they don't know who you are, all right, guys? So the first things first, all right? Don't panic, right? Don't panic. Try not to go against the grain. Try and walk with the crowd, all right? Try and walk with the crowd and filter yourself out of that crowd, guys, okay? That would be the first thing to do, all right? Once you're out of that crowd, remember, nobody is targeting you specifically, guys, all right? If you're there with your, you might be there with your wife, your kids, you might just be there with your kids or whatever, nobody is specifically targeting you. Nobody wants to attack you, guys, all right? So don't panic, don't worry, don't fret, all right? Slowly and calmly, pull yourself off to the side, maybe even not evacuate straight away, maybe go into the closest shop, a cafe or something. Normally, people walk past these shops, people walk past these businesses. 9 times out of 10, they don't get, a couple of chairs might get kicked over outside. But if you're inside, you'll be with the staff will know what to do, guys, all right? So what I'm trying to get at with this, guys, I'm just going to keep this simple for the first, because there's quite a few comments. Keep calm, walk with the crowd, and filter yourself off. Don't worry about it. People who are, do you know what? Even chant their slogans, guys. Chant their slogans. Let them think they're part of you, okay? Chant with them, smile with them, say, yeah, I'm part of you. You're not going to get any of that, you're not going to get any aggression towards you if you find yourself in, like, enemy lines, because they don't know who you are. So don't panic, filter yourself off slowly, and go into the closest shop, guys, okay? That is the advice I'm giving you. Now, hang on, let me get the comments. Let me jump up and get the comments. Debbie Doob saying I've had to create another Facebook profile. Then hang on. And Debbie Doobs has been banned from Facebook for sharing posts of a certain. I'm just going to say Tommy video. Cosmic is saying, don't panic, Mr. Mannering. Yeah, guys, look, I see this all the time, all right? If you walk into a crowd of people and you start panicking and screaming, you're going to draw attention to yourself. And the name of the game here, guys, is to be the grey man. Don't draw attention to yourself. Don't let people look at you. Now, these people are not looking for you. They're angry. They're walking forwards. They're doing whatever. Nobody really cares about you or your little group if you get in the wrong place at the wrong time, all right? So keep calm. Don't flap. Don't make a scene, and just slowly go with the crowd and then slowly push to the side. Love Sean, he's intelligent and he knows his stuff. But listen, guys, okay, a lot of this as well comes down to understanding your environment, okay? So it all comes down to understanding your environment. So let's keep it simple, guys, all right? Let's keep it simple, all right? And let's just remember, hibernate, relocate, evacuate. So if things get really bad, and I do think they're going to get really bad in cities, not all cities, but in some cities this year, I do think it's going to get really bad. So remember what we say, hibernate, relocate, evacuate. First of all, your first port of call is to go home, get off the streets. Don't get involved unless you want to get involved. But if you want to get involved, then that is totally on you. Don't listen to what I'm saying and go and do your own thing, all right? Whatever. Hibernate, all right? First thing you need to do is hibernate. I would always say have 3 days food and water as a minimum in your house. And if you get to day 2 and things don't look like they're getting better, then you need to start putting into your relocation plan. Now, your relocation plan, it needs to be done right now. Right now, you need to have a relocation plan. So hibernate, relocate, evacuate. So the first thing to do, if everything's kicking off on your streets, like we saw this in what is it? Hare Hills? Har Hills in Leeds last year, guys, okay? We saw this where the streets were just carnage. People were setting fire to buses, tires in the middle of the streets. People were putting blockades in so the emergency services weren't getting in. Can you imagine? You're there, right? You're in Har Hills. You've got your door shut, the windows closed. You're hibernating, but you ain't got food, you ain't got water, you ain't got gas, you ain't got electricity. You know, are you really gonna like? What's that movie? There's that movie where Con Air. There's like a movie called Con Air, and in this movie, I think it's I can't remember who the actor is, but the actor needs to go and get some insulin or something from and there's like a big war zone going on and people are fighting and like he's jumping over cars and sliding under stuff and he's doing all this stuff to get the insulin. Can you imagine, like, you know, having to do that to get some sausages and a loaf of bread and a bottle of milk? You know, but you're not going to have that dramatic music, so make sure you've got them already, guys, okay? So make sure you've got enough food and water for 3 days. Now, moving, if things are still as bad, you really, for 3 days, guys, right, you really need to start thinking about relocating. Now, a relocation house would be a designated house. Like our house is a designated house. We're in a semi-rural location. We've got plenty of space. We can facilitate that. So, you know, we can have people come here. It's absolutely fine. Now, I understand that not everybody will be in that situation. If you're in you're in a flat, you're in an apartment, in a city centre. To me, that's the worst case scenario. So you're going to have, after 3 days, you're going to have to think about evacuating, guys. You are. Why? Because your food's going. And if it's happened for 3 days, that kind of means it's going to happen for longer. So then you need to put your relocation plan in place. I would say you need to go in the dark hours. You need to go at night, but it's totally up to you guys. Every plan is going to be different. And then if things still keep getting worse, your relocation location is under threat. You need to start thinking about evacuation, where you have to leave the country, maybe go to, I don't know, a friendly country or something. This algorithm I'm talking about now, guys, hibernate, relocate, evacuate. That algorithm is something I used to teach when I used to work, in hostile environments all over the world, actually. You know, and this was what I would teach non-government organizations, security companies, anyone really who's operating. If you're operating in downtown Baghdad, if you're operating in Al Raqqa in Syria, wherever, guys, okay? If you're operating in the east of Ukraine, you know, I would always teach that if things get bad, you need to hibernate, you need to relocate, then you need to evacuate in that order. Now, one caveat I'm going to put on this, guys, okay? You can jump straight to relocate. Do you know what? It may be the scenario, it may be the situation that you, your family, your friends, your dog, your cat, your wife, your uncle, your gran, your nan, your mum and your dad, you know, you guys may not actually want to hibernate. You might just think, right, look, you know, we live in a high-risk area. Whatever that high-risk area, it's up to you. We live in a high-risk area. We're going to go to Auntie Pauline's house. She lives out in the middle of Derbyshire. She's absolutely fine with it. She actually wants to come and see the grandkids, so we're going to go out there. That could be this case, guys, okay? You don't have to hibernate straight away, guys, okay? You can go straight to relocate. But if you are going to go straight to relocate, let them know you're coming, and at least, you know, every scenario is different, all right? But at least let them know you're coming in advance and say, listen, Auntie Pauline, if our city's in flames, we ain't hibernating for 3 days. We're coming straight over to you guys because, you know, that is our plan. Anyway, guys, hibernate, relocate, evacuate. I struggle to see anyone having to actually leave the UK at this moment, guys. But you know what? Who knows? Hang on, let me just jump up and get some of these comments. Cosmic is saying, Debbie is saying, I love Con Air. What's the guy's name? The guy's name on Con Air with the long hair. What's his name? I can't remember his name. Cosmic is saying, I drove to Manchester Airport at the weekend and went past the water reservoirs. They are empty, guys. Yeah, guys, look, right now, water is still cheap. I don't know why, but water is still cheap right now, guys. Please, I forgot my water. Go and get yourselves 3 litres of water per person per day. Cosmic is saying they went past Stockbridge bypass. Yeah, it is, guys. Do you know what? No, hang on, let me pin this. So Cosmic is saying they went past Stokesbriggs bypass and saw the reservoirs. Guys, look, all the reservoirs are drastically lower at the moment. And as we move forwards with no rain and people drinking, what do you think? Do you think, right, let me ask you, riddle me this, riddle me that, Batman. If the reservoirs are already at a critically low level and there's no more rain going into them, and there's people taking out of them, what's going to happen? Riddle me this, riddle me that, Batman. If we've all got a straw in a pint glass and we're all sucking and there's no more water going in that pint glass, what's going to happen? Yeah, it's going to run out, guys. It's going to run out. Get yourself some water. Cosmic saying they went past a reservoir, and I don't know if Cosmic saw this, but the rivers leading to those reservoirs, they're also dry, and they're not only dry, they're dry, but they've grassed over. Grass is growing out of them now, and you've got like little vegetation growing out of it because there's been no water for that long. Yeah, it's critical, guys. It's absolutely critical, the water situation. Linda Lou saying she's coming to my house with a tent on the garden. Nicolas Cage, that's it, Gemini, bless him. Nicolas Cage is the actor in, yeah, so the actor in Con Air. Right, guys, listen, yeah, guys, everybody stock up on water, guys, please, stock up on water. Look, yes, I saw very dry, yeah, guys, listen, reservoirs in the United Kingdom are at a critical level. Water is still relatively cheap at the supermarket. I don't know why this has not gone up yet, guys. Look, please go and get yourself and your family 3 litres of water per person per day and work for having 3 days stored. But yeah, look, guys, you need that in your house because nobody, right? Nobody wants to be doing a Nicolas Cage Con Air through crowds of people fighting, throwing petrol bombs, burnt out cars, settees burnt out, people waving that flag, people waving this flag. You know, nobody needs to risk all that for a loaf of bread and some sausages and a pint of milk. You get that already, guys, before it starts. Right, guys, listen, I'm going to turn off the TikTok. You guys have been fantastic. I will be on later on tonight at 8 o'clock. I will be talking about Ukraine. I'll be talking about global events. May even be talking about aliens later on, guys. I don't know. But listen, guys, I'm going to see you guys later. I'll be back on at 8 on the TikTok, and I will be closing it down now. I'll be over on YouTube, guys. We'll be getting the comments on YouTube, so I'll be over on YouTube for a little bit if you want to jump over there. Guys, look, if you're on and you've not done so already, please show your support. We are on TikTok, we're on YouTube, and we are on X. The name's the same, The Real Raven 1. Oh, hang on, what's happened here? We have that awkward moment now where I try and turn the live off, and that is it, guys. I'll see you guys later. I'll be over on YouTube. And we are off. We are off, ladies and gentlemen. Right. We are. Right, I'm just going to... We are off, guys. We've got a little bit more of an, it's a little bit more cozy now, isn't it? A little bit cozy now. We feel a bit, you know, it's a lot more personal now. Right. Slimmy saying Raven gives good advice. Thank you so much. Air Hammond is saying the local woods will also be busy, I imagine. Preppers be fighting over tent space. Yeah, so look, guys, I've done quite a lot of we used to give away an urban survival kit on a Friday because it was one of the things on this channel, you know, I was talking about. So urban survival, guys, all right? So nobody, well, I don't know, maybe they are. Maybe Bear Grylls is. But, like, you know this myth that, like, a lot of people in this, like, prepping community have? And, look, I'll argue with any of them. You know, the myth that when everything goes wrong, they're going to... I can't... You know, I was going to show you my backpack. This myth, in fact, oh, I can see it. No, I'm not going to get it. Right. This myth that people have that they're going to, like, you know, they're going to have a shit it's the fan scenario and everybody's, they're going to get their little backpack and tighten their straps, and they're going to be off into the woods, and they're going to be like, like John Rambo. They've got like the little bandana, and they're sharpening sticks, and, they're going hunting for squirrels and wood pigeons and foraging for chicken of the wood and berries and stuff. Guys, look, okay, it just doesn't happen. It's just not going to happen. Not in a million years. Nobody's doing that. You might go into the woods with what you can carry in your backpack. And if you've got a well thought out backpack and the absolute minimum kit, you're good for 3 days, guys. Realistically, you're good for 3 days. The biggest contributor to this is the weight, and the biggest weight of that will be water, because it's kind of dead weight. Anyway, so there's a lot of people who think they're going to be out off into the woods with their little their little sterilization tablets. It's just not going to work, guys. All right? It's a fantasy. What is going to happen? What is going to happen, guys? Okay, it will be urban survival, guys. Okay, whereby. And we saw this in Sheffield when that guy had his, when the guy had the firearm and he said, "Oh, I'm gonna do this. We're gonna do this with the firearm," and the whole of Sheffield got closed down. This guy was, I think he was in the top floor. He was in the top floor of the flats. The police had to go there. There was tactical support units. All the people from that all the people from that block of flats got evacuated. And they got just told to get out now, and they got put in the in a local what was it? It was like it was called Ponds Forge. It's like I think it's like I think it's like a leisure centre or something. It's right in the city, in the centre of Sheffield. What I'm getting at here is that is urban survival, because you're not out in the woods. You're not out in the woods foraging for berries. So, I mean, guys, honestly, if you want to, in that scenario, if you want to pull out your survival kit and start, like, I don't know, setting traps up around the perimeter of that hotel, of that leisure centre, be a guest to me. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get my phone charger that I've already got in my urban survival kit. I'm going to get my phone charger with USB ports. I'm going to plug my spare phone in, because I've got all that stuff in my urban survival kit. Now, I'm going to use my blanket that I've got in my urban survival kit, and my spare clothes, and the little bits of stuff that I've got prepared, because I know that this is the most likely scenario. We can't prepare. Nobody can prepare for every scenario. So you have to prepare for the most likely thing that's going to happen. And the most likely thing that's going to happen is you're going to find yourself in an urban survival environment. Now, urban survival, guys, it covers a lot of stuff. If you're in a city and you need to evacuate out of that city, evacuating out of a city. So in the military, there's certain courses. So one of the courses is called, you could call it escape and evasion. I think it's called something else now. I think it's called SERE, SERE. I don't know what it stands for. Search, evade, survive, SE, evade, SE, resist, evacuate, or something. I don't know what it actually stands for. It used to be called escape and evasion. Now, doing that in an urban environment, towns, cities, built up areas, it's a lot different to doing that in a rural location. In a rural location, it's easy. You've got big fields. You can keep to hedgerows. It's very difficult to get. It's hard to get seen if you know what you're doing. In an urban environment, guys, you can imagine it now. Imagine Leeds city centre, right? Imagine Leeds city centre. Just bear with me, guys. Go with me. Leeds City Centre this year, this is the scenario, guys, okay? Leeds City Centre this year has been overrun with an extremist ideology. Now, whatever that ideology is, guys, it's totally up to you to envisage it, whether that's, far-right Vikings who want the return of Odin, or whether that is far-left Islamists who think that everybody should convert to Islam. Whatever that is, guys, it's up to you. It doesn't really matter for the purpose of this explanation. So the whole of Leeds City Centre has been overrun. There's no police in there. You and your family need to get out. How are you going to do that? You're literally on a 360-degree 3D chessboard. You know, you've got people in windows, you've got people at ground level, potentially people below ground level, you've got shop windows. It's a minefield, guys. You know, are you going to go out at night time when you can use the cover of darkness? If you're using the cover of darkness and you are seen, it's a lot different to if you're seen in the daytime. If you're seen in the daytime, you can just blend in with the general population. But then you are blending in with the general population. So like there's a lot of differences here, guys, and there's a lot of things to think about when we're talking about urban survival. If you're in the United Kingdom and you speak the native language, it's a little bit easier than if you're in like Baghdad and you need to exit Baghdad and you don't speak Arabic, which it becomes a lot more difficult. But anyway, guys, so this is what we talk about, you know, urban survival. And I'm just conscious that I've just waffled there, you know, about when Hammond was talking about the local woods will also be busy. Preppers fighting over tent space. Guys, yeah, you need to get as far away from the problem as possible, okay? Put distance and angles between you and whatever you want to get away from. It's all well and good going in a straight line, but if that person's still watching you, it's like, yeah, no, he's running up that road. Yeah, where's that road go? It's like loads, miles. He's going to get nowhere. We'll have a cup of tea, finish your sandwiches, then we'll just jump in the car and catch him. Yeah, no worries. If you start putting angles between between you and the people who are chasing you, then that person has to make a decision, left or right. And every one of those decisions they make, left or right, that's giving you a 50% chance of evading them. So you come to a junction, left, right, or straight on. Most people that are chasing guys, statistically, will go straight on. It's what they do. So if you put an angle in, left or right, say it's a T junction. If you get to left or right, you've got a 50% chance of losing them. Right, okay, so you get to the next T junction, you put another one in, left or right. You've now got a 75% chance of losing them if you add the other one on. You see where I'm going with this, guys? Okay, distance and angles between you and the guys that are chasing you. I'm just conscious right now, guys, I'm going through my SEER lessons. But anyway, we're not doing SEER, guys. I'm just going to jump down. Storing drinking water, guys, all good things. Yeah, John Giles is saying, I still see car washers are using loads of water. Look, guys, we do have water shortages in the United Kingdom. I don't know how these things are going to be policed. The reservoirs are ridiculously low in the UK right now, like unfathomably low. Where we live, there's like, I don't know what it is, but there's like a little waterfall that's not a waterfall. It's where a canal drops levels. But anyway, what I'm saying here is there's no water flowing over it at the moment, and where the water used to come over it, grass is growing up, so it doesn't look good, guys. And look, listen, guys, it is simple maths. All right, we have no water coming down. We have no water coming down, so we have no water coming into the system and people taking out of the system. Like, what do you think is going to happen? You know, if you've got a bank and you keep spending money, if you don't keep topping that bank up, eventually you're going to run out of money. Water's heavy if you don't drive, says Hammond. Yeah, I think that's talking to what we were talking about before when I said, you know, people are going to, you know, you've got preppers and they're going out into the woods and the wilderness and they're going to be carrying, they're going, you know, and people do this, guys. Again, I used to teach SEER. People go out and they think like, yeah, I'm going to carry 3 liters of water and that's enough to last me a week. No, it ain't. Not a chance. Not a chance. You know, so then you have to think about water filtration systems, where to get water from, the route that you've planned. Does it come? Are you going to come across a natural water source? Are you going to fill your water bottles up, or are you going to keep going? Are you going to carry Purity tabs? Are you going to carry some sort of one of those live straws? Ladies and gentlemen, I need to stop giving you my SEER lessons. Smidge is saying, smidge of colloidal silver will keep tap water longer, and a lot longer helps it clean. Yeah, there's a lot of ways to keep tap water clean, guys. I would say if you're going to store tap water, put yourself some, I don't know what they're called, Campden tablets, basically. They're little Campden tablets. You can buy them from like a homebrew shop. You can certainly buy them online. They're antioxidizing. They stop the water from oxidizing, basically. So if you put some of those tablets in, whatever the dosage is recommended on the tablets, I don't know, guys. It'll be different for every box or every packet or whatever. But that will stop. They're really cheap. That will stop your water oxidizing. Keep it in a dry, cool place, or as best you can. Four Pauses saying, here from next door, jumped over. Jane Taylor is saying, so if we are this kind of evacuation situation, can we take over dwellings that are empty? Oh, well, that is, I don't know. It depends how bad it goes. People ask me this all the time. Like, people ask me this all the time, guys. You know, at what point, like, look, what I'm going to say, Jane, I'm going to give you the PC answer, okay? I'm going to say the rule of law will always apply. Now, how you apply that rule of law is totally up to you. Slim is saying, ow and suffering. Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Slim's saying he's going to be doing some poopies. Hammond is saying, I'm loving the energy, the real Raven one. Yeah, guys, listen, I just realized I slipped into one of my SEER briefings then. Again, I used to teach SEER. I don't even know what it stands for. So what does CF stand for? It's so long since I've given these briefings. SEER. Oh, yeah. Survival, evasion, resistance, escape. Yeah, okay, yeah. SEER. Survive, evade, resist, escape. Where are we? Jane Taylor is saying, would you trust the government? Look, I mean, I think the title of this live stream says it all. I think people in general have okay, so how do you lose trust in someone? How do you lose trust in someone? You lose trust in someone when they say to you, I'm going to do X, and then they blatantly don't do it. And again, like for me personally, when I left the military, guys, it's a massive trust organization. Like, if you say you're going to do something for someone, no matter how difficult that is for yourself, you do it. You know, you do it. When I left the military and I started my first business, it was a massive culture shock to ask someone, hey mate, can you do this? Yes, I'll do it. And then they don't. And then you go to someone, you say, right, mate, you need to pay me. And they're like, yeah, I'll pay you next week. I'll pay you next week. People just don't, you know, so trust for me is a massive thing. You know, and I do think that people have lost trust in the government, guys. I really do. It would be hard. It would be hard for somebody to argue that the general population have not lost trust in the government. It would, guys. It'd be really difficult for anyone to argue that they've not lost trust in the government. And Sandra is saying, get in touch with farmers to purchase much better food. Seeds everywhere, grow all sorts. Yeah, I do think growing, guys, look, ultimately, you know, you can only pack so much in your backpack. You can. And ultimately, over a long enough time period, no matter how much you've got, even if you've got like your cellar bulked out, if you've got like a storage container or something crammed with long life food, eventually that's going to go. And ultimately, the best way to look after yourself, like food wise, is to grow your own. Guys, look, I get it. I don't do what I preach, you know. We've been terrible. Last year we did tomatoes. I know I've said this a few times. Last year we did tomatoes and it was just an absolute epic fail. I saw these videos online and they're like, yeah, get them in buckets. Don't put them in the ground. Get them in buckets. You can turn the buckets round. And we didn't get one tomato. I don't know what it was. I don't know whether it was dodgy tomatoes or whatever. The year before that, we did potatoes and we got absolutely tons of potatoes. So we kind of got empowered by the potato yield. We kind of got empowered by the potato yield, but then disenchanted by the poor tomatoes. Right, Four Paws is saying, any updates on the plane crash in Southend? I will come on to that, guys. I'll just read I'll read an update on that. What's been happening? But yeah, there's been on what's been happening in basically civilian aircrafts crashed in London in the UK. Taste horrible. Where's this from? Sandra Green is saying, taste horrible, they do. Oh, I missed the last comment. We are not stupid. We are getting out of Dodge. Taste horrible, they do. I don't know what that is in reference to. Water filter, right? Okay, water filter, right? So water filters taste horrible. I use a water filter. I don't think it tastes horrible. Lisa Jane said, I've got my survival kit ready. My daughter thinks I'm mad because I've got 10 packs of water. Yeah, guys, look, getting water is not it's not a bad thing to have water. Every time I went on a military exercise, we would always check. So if we were deploying on a helicopter, for example, you'd always check the maximum weight of that helicopter. When you've got all your kit and equipment on, like, I don't know, for a Chinook CH-47 helicopter, the maximum, is it maximum takeoff weight or maximum lift weight? I think the maximum lift weight is 10 tons. Do you know what? Let me do this. I think it's 10 tons, guys. Maximum takeoff weight CH-47. Yeah. So I think it's 10 tons, guys. So a CH-47 can lift 10 tons. Now, what we would do is in that environment, guys, if we would to lift 10 tons. If we were under 10 ton for that CH-47, we just put water into to get that full payload of water, because you can always use water. Nobody ever didn't use water. Four Paws is saying it's raining in Flintshire in North Wales. Hang on, let me jump out of this. Debbie Doobs is saying they never run out of water on The Walking Dead. I've not watched The Walking Dead, guys. It's one of those things that I look at The Walking Dead, I'm like, oh, guys, that looks so good. Once I start watching it, I'm just going to be watching the whole thing. Listen, you're talking to the person who can sit down and watch all Lord of the Rings in one sitting. And I mean the director's cuts as well. So that is 12 hours and 47 minutes. I will do that in one sitting with a couple of toilet breaks, guys. You know, I've got no dramas in doing that. And I could do that once a week if I had to. Luke Jacobs is saying, some down Cornwall had some rain this morning and forecasted for rain the rest of the week. Look, guys, where we are in Yorkshire, we have had I'll tell you from Yorkshire Water, guys. From Yorkshire Water in the UK, we have had the driest. Now, I don't know if this is UK wide, but from Yorkshire Water's own website, we have had the driest. The driest spring ever since records began. So there's never been a recorded spring drier. The last time we had significant rain was the end of January. So you can imagine the reservoirs now. And again, look, guys, I know this is Yorkshire, and I think a few more places may be affected. But what I'm getting at here is, as the water draws down in those places, they're going to have to get water from somewhere else. So Yorkshire Water might have to get water from another. You see where I'm going, guys? And this is all going to have that effect, that draining effect. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to close this down now. You guys have been absolutely fantastic. I'll be back, hopefully I'll be back at 8 o'clock. Oh, I said I was going to do where are we? Right, Southend Airport plane crash latest. Airport shut. So the airport in question here, guys, is Southend Airport. I believe it's Southend Airport has been shut until further notice after a small plane crashed, sending a fireball into the sky. Essex Police and East of England Ambulance Service responded to the incident on Sunday afternoon after receiving reports of a collision involving a 12-meter plane. Who was on it? Zouch Aviation, based in Lelystad Airport in the Netherlands, confirmed its SUZ-1 flight had been involved in the incident. I didn't really report on this, guys, because I know a lot of on these small airfields. I used to fly out of There's an airfield in, I think it's North Derbyshire. It's either North Derbyshire or South Yorkshire, called Netherthorpe. I used to, when I was getting my pilot's license, I used to fly out of there, and you wouldn't believe the amount of near misses and little dinks and crashes people have on these small aircraft, on these small runways. So I just think it's just that an accident. But you know what, guys? Who knows? Who knows what's happening? This doesn't fit into that Overton window of sabotage or anything, guys. There's just too much. I just think it's an unfortunate incident. Now, over the days and weeks, if there's no more information released, no more information about who was flying, how many passengers were on board, that could start to look suspicious. But at the moment, guys, we don't actually know what it is. Debbie Doobs is saying, I'm watching hot tubs being refilled now. Needs to change mine every time someone used it. Anyway, guys, right, listen, I am going to go again. I am going to go. I thought I'd just give you that update on the airport. I'm going to go. I'll be back on later on today, guys. I'll be back on hopefully at 8, although I am going to try and get on a little bit earlier, guys. I'm going to try and get a little bit earlier. Because remember, we've got the Manchester 2, the trial of the Manchester 2. No doubt there'll be updates from Manchester hitting the mainstream. Guys, look, go. Can you do me a favor? I said this on TikTok before we go. Can you do me a favor? I want you guys to find that article from Essex Live about what happened at the hotel in Epping. I just want you to show people, look at how little this media is getting, how little reporting is on this. And look what they're reporting. They're missing the key factors that I would say started this protest. Anyway, guys, I'm going to speak to you guys later. Try and convince somebody. And just if you can, try and convince people that things are not normal. I'll see you at 8 or just before.